Hi there, my beautiful subscribers. Continuing on with our expose of Mercury. So now I've already given you the significations of Mercury given to us by Vatius Valens, a Turkish astrologer, Hellenistic astrologer. And now we are going to straight hop over to Abu Mashar's significations of Mercury. Okay, so Abu Mashar says, Mercury bends with his nature towards the one who is complected to him, so in connection with him. In terms of the natures of the planets and signs, on account of the mixing of dryness and cold in him. And he signifies youth and younger brothers, and an affection for male and female servants, and abundance from them. And he signifies divinity and the oracles of prophets, sense and reason, speech and conversations and stories, and the committing of them to memory. So this oracular tradition of Guru Parampara, of leaving all of the esoteric occult knowledge from Guru to Shishya, is actually coming under the signification of Mercury. Interestingly, I did a chart yesterday, and the client had Mercury as a final dispositor, as well as a lot of activity. When you really break down her chart, you see a lot of activity happening with Mercury. Mercury rules a lot of our planets by term, by phase. Phase is the decan system, triplicity system. So, the term Mercury rules a lot of a term. So essentially, it is, and this person, even the fixed stars speak of receiving benefits. The terms, definitely, the two terms that I was speaking to her about, as well as the fixed stars speak of her receiving abundance from barren people, from servants. So that was very interesting that I just observed yesterday. And he signifies divinity and the oracles of prophets, sense and reason, speech and conversation and stories, and the committing of them to memory. Also wisdom and belief and beauty of learning. So beauty of learning, it's how you learn. I have Mercury in the 12th house. I was never good with mathematics. I fell in love with numbers only after I started studying astrology. And after I started doing number divination and working with numbers as a magical tool, as a magical component, because I learned through symbology. Most of my learning has been through world cinema. Most of my philosophy, my psychology, the understanding of art and beauty for me has been through the world of celluloid. So, Mercury in the 12th, I have Mercury in the 12th in Leo. So there's a huge flair to understanding, stuff like divination, the tarot, being a medium. I was sort of compelled to do mediumistic work at a point, and it was very difficult for me to truly understand the psychic imagery that was being shown to me. And then I just come up with random numbers like 727, and then people around me would just start saying 727. I would just say, 727 times I listened to that song. Just random stuff like that. And then I discover that there's just so much of synchronicity with that the 27 and the 72, and that and Mercury actually has a lot of significations when it comes to that. That's another video, but really this is very interesting. Okay, committing all of these stories to memory. So, even learning your lines is Mercury. If you're an actress, and learning your lines, even tarot, how you read the tarot will be dependent on which house you have Mercury in. Day chart, night chart. Is Mercury with a malefic? Is Mercury combust? Mercury is combust, and Mercury happens to be your almutin figuris, or your ruler of your nativity, then a lot of problems are going to arise. from that. Okay, so beauty of learning, sharpness of character, intellect, literature, and philosophy. In a gift of knowledge, also arithmetic and geometry and the measure of higher and terrestrial things. So this is very powerful for people who have Mercury in the first house. They're extremely good with mathematics. I've seen this, 12th house more literature. I was more literature, philosophy, 9th house Mercury, very philosophical. 8th house Mercury, very psychological. Okay, 7th house Mercury, very into relationships. So, very good counselor possibly. So stuff like that's just pretty neat to know that. Even the wisdom of the stars and prophecy and his declamation and rebuking and agodomen and hospitality and knowledge in matters and wisdom in obscure books. So I have a Mercury in the 12th, so you can imagine what kind of obscure texts I have been after. And rhetoric and eloquence, the sweetness of speech and its quickness, or the explanation of opinions and study in types of wisdom, and striving for a position of first place and passionate desire in them, and praise and a memory because of it, and a beacon in all things. And he signifies haircuts. So salons and hairdressers are all under Mercury, as are, surgeons and writers. And writers in books and offices in the assessing of land taxes and colonies and slander and lying and false testimony and fictitious books and speculation of hidden secrets. So lying with your tax is also a signification of Mercury. So, by looking at your accountant's Mercury placements, you will be able to see if, your accountant is going to doctor the books or not. Honestly, it's so crazy sometimes. Okay. Lying, false testimony, all of this, all these carcoons in the courts, all of them mercurial, the ones who take money are problems with Mercury. And he signifies a scarcity of joy and destruction of assets. He even signifies assets and distribution and merchandise and business deals and buying and selling, giving and taking and partnering. Affliction, burglaries, contentions, deception, lies, resentment, cunning, denials, and depth of counsel. Now, this is something we don't usually attribute to Mercury, depth of counsel. So, Mercury knows a proper Mercury, maybe not Mercury in Gemini, because through the yang mutable air filter, Mercury is very, very frisky. But through mutable earth of Virgo, Mercury is more balanced. And I see this happening many times with Mercury in Virgo, because that Mercury is also exalted in the 15 degrees of Virgo, where we have the very, very powerful fixed stars, Vindemiatrix and Purina. Okay, there's very, very powerful fixed stars. Speculation of hidden secrets, scarcity of joy, buying, selling, giving, taking, partnering, afflictions, burglaries, contention, we've done all that. Denials, deception of counsel, and no one knows what he bears in his mind, nor does he disclose it to anyone. So tight-lipped is also being mercurial. And he signifies combatants and hostility and losses in his reckonings, and a multitude of fears from them, slaves and assistants, and quickness in work, and crookedness of morals, and a multitude of color and charm, and gentleness of speech, and acquisition, and assistance, and willingness, and endurance. Also an inclination to piety and mercy, calm, sobriety, and restraining the hands from doing evil. Interestingly, the most important nakshatra inside real Virgo is Hasta nakshatra. Hasta means the hand, and Mercury also rules the hand. So, if you want to use your Mercury, do something with your hands. That is, take action. Right, so that's going to be very, very powerful, I think, to understand how our hands are directly connected to a knowing, because they say that the hands are second eyes. They did a lot of study on this, which I'll get into maybe another video. But let's complete the significations of Mercury by Abu Mashar. Now, sobriety, restraining the hands from doing evil. So idle hands, don't keep your hands idle. And the beauty of faith and obedience to God, the cause of truth and preservation of his brothers. Timid with diverse fears, beauty of voice, knowing melodies, and he signifies the precision of the hands in diverse masteries, and prudence in every matter which he takes on, having pleasure in every completed work. And he signifies bloodletters and those who work with razors and combs. And he signifies mountains of water and rivers and wells in prisons and the dead, and mange in beasts. So oftentimes if you have a dog who's been afflicted with mange, you will see that with Mercury retrograde, especially if Mercury is your final dispositor, you will see that you feel your dog may get, you feel the mange on the dog. You feel like it's coming on if you're very, very intuitive. Okay, so that was a bit about Mercury from Abu Mashar. And it's very, very worth your while to just contemplate on what is being said, what is, how you interpret all of this in your life and your experience, and leave me a comment below. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.